We're here with Bettina Umstead, who is running for Durham County School Board, District 1, right?
District 2.
See,
Yeah, District 2.
Filing is still open. Of course, we're going to play this later. Filing will be closed. But as of right now, no one else has filed to run for that seat.
No one else has filed against me. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I don't really know Bettina. Most of you might not know Bettina either. So we really wanted to just take some time to let Bettina tell us all about herself before we get into the rigmarole of the actual running for that seat. So right. Bettina, go, shoot.
Yes, my name is Bettina Umstead. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I am from a family of educators. My mom is a guidance counselor. My aunts and uncles talk about education a lot, so that's always been something that's been near and dear and passion for myself. Went to Carolina, came to Durham, fell in love with the community that's here in Durham, and really care about making sure that our public school system is going to serve the students well, so that when they are out of school, they can go to career, they can go to college, wherever they want. But our school system has prepared them to do that. And I think I've seen an opportunities where we haven't quite met the mark, and so I'm excited about thinking about how do we meet that mark for our students moving forward.
So did you always know that you were going to run for school board? or
No.
Because, okay, so everybody might not know this, but there was a vacancy on the Durham County Board of the Durham County School Board, and you were selected to fill that vacancy, and so you didn't go through the usual process of having to file and run and campaign. And so what made you decide to say, hey, I'm going to send my name in because I'm interested? Like, how'd you get there?
Yeah. So in my work, I work for a college access organization here in Durham. It's called Student U. And we work with middle, high school students, all who go to Durham public schools, but our first generation college students will be. And so I've worked with students day in and day out. We're doing after school work, we do summer academy, and realize like some of our students are really not prepared. And I listened to their parents and their experiences they talked about in school, and they were also saying things that were like, this is not quite right. And so when the vacancy became available, I was like, maybe I'm interested in this, maybe not. And then I talked to a lot of different people. I had a really good friend who sat me down and was like, actually, I really think you should do this, and these are the reasons why. So I applied to the vacancy, and I've been on this ride ever since. I'm really enjoying it, though.
Yeah, so Bettina's running for school board. So you said you came from a family of educators. You decided to put your name in, and so now's the first time you're going to be running. But here's the thing, you've already been serving for how long?
About a year and a half.
Okay, so you've been serving about a year and a half. So tell me, what was like the most unexpected thing that you've experienced over this period of time? Like, that kind of caught me off guard. I hadn't expected that.
Hiring a new superintendent. That was not, Dr. Lum's contract was over in 2020. And so I expected if I run and get the seat again, that's when we'll hire a new superintendent. So that was the thing that caught me off guard, was unexpected.
Yeah, I can see. So, but I'm sure there are other challenges. And so, one of the things, I'm just going to sort of throw this out there because this has been in the news a lot, and a lot of people are really concerned about school safety, about gun violence, and how we make sure that when we send our kids off to school that they're going to come back home to us safely.
Oh, yes.
So tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that, what you're thinking we need to be doing here in Durham. I'm just going to let you go with that.
Yeah. I think our school district, we're here to educate students, but our number one priority is to keep students safe every single day, and that's really, really, really important. I think for us here in Durham, there's safety protocols, our schools practice drills, we have different procedures to get in and out of school buildings that are protecting safety, but I really think it's a community challenge that we need to think about. How are we parents and community members and neighbors really making sure we're aware of warning signs and reporting those warning signs? I think the school can't do it alone. And so it's really important that we're all thinking about this together. And I hope that we've got really great staff who've been really diligent in building relationships with students, so when things might happen, students and staff are becoming aware of those. So I'm thankful in Durham that we have a really great team who's working on that, but I'm going to ask the community to help us out and making sure that we're all thinking about how do we make sure students stay safe. If you hear something on Snapchat and on Instagram and all the different platforms that students are using now, report that to us so we can make sure we follow up. But it's a huge challenge and issue in our schools, and in many schools.
I think you're right. I think it goes back to us being a village, like we used to talk about, and us keeping an eye not just on our own kids, but the friends of our kids and the other kids we see down the street and, you know, at our neighborhood church, whatever the place may be. But I think you're right. The charge is to us as a community that we all need to be vigilant with this. So that's a good thing. So, yeah. So look, and I think I mentioned this to you in the email when we talked about doing this. My mother's on the Pitt County Board of Commissioners, same sort of deal, because she was appointed to fill a vacancy. You know, and so we talk a lot about government and how government functions. And so, of course, right now, you know, she's looking at their budget and they're talking about how they're going to fund schools. And so you're at the other end of that. So you're, you know all about that. And one of the things she's been talking about would be all of the requirements that are coming down, these new sort of unfunded mandates that are coming forward, and the challenge that presents to our budget. So tell us a little bit about that as you've had to deal with some of this and you see some of this coming forward to our school system here.
So the biggest one that just happened recently is the K-3 unfunded mandate that came through. The General Assembly put a stop to the mandate, and so there's going to be a hold on when it will be fully implemented. But basically what they said was our class sizes need to shrink. You need to hire more teachers, and you just figure out how to do it, right? So figure it out, and we need a lot more money as a district to make that happen. So we were looking at, I think it was $6 million just for teachers. So that didn't include the new building space that you would need to house all those teachers. So I think for us, the school board is in an interesting position where we don't have tax dollars that we're allowed. We don't have in control of taxing the people, but we do have to make sure we're educating our students really well. And so for our General Assembly, I hope that they continue to come into schools and think about, how do I talk to school boards, how do I talk to teachers to make sure that the laws that we're putting in place are going to be effective in the classrooms and that are going to lead us to success. Because to me, that K-3 says we weren't really sure about how that was going to be implemented in schools, but we just want you all to do that.
Yeah, part of it is, so we understand that there's some benefits of smaller class sizes, but to sort of say, hey, you got to do this. We don't care how you do it. We know you don't really have any money, but yeah, pull something out of your magic hat and pull together your magic wand, and yeah. Do you have any kids? I didn't ask you that.
I do not have any kids.
Okay.
I like to say through my work that I have 550 students that I've worked with every single day in some capacity, but I don't have any biological children.
Yeah. So you're like the auntie, the nice, sweet auntie. Everybody loves having an auntie. Like parents, they're just like, but aunties are always great.
Yeah.
So tell people why they should really come out to vote for you. Because here's the thing. Even if no one else files for that seat, a lot of times we get a little complacent, and it's just like, oh yeah, she's good. She's been in the seat. Yeah. And so they don't even think about how important it still is, and how important it is to get to know you, because you still represent that district, right?
Do.
So tell people a little bit about you and why they need to vote for you and why this is important. Why this is so important.
Yeah, I think my experience for the last 8 years working in Durham has allowed me to see a little global perspective. So not just from having one child in a school, but really across schools and across students and across different populations. I think I'm really keen on listening to students and to families and community members. So when you talk about, she might be the only one, so I'm okay. But no, I want to hear from you. I'm here to represent the students and the parents and the teachers in schools, as well as the other community members who are passionate. So I really want people to come out. And I think one of the other things I'm very, very passionate about is thinking about equity, and thinking about, we are in a majority minority school district, but if you look at our stats, like, our minority children aren't succeeding, and that is a huge problem for me. And so one of the reasons why I think you should vote for me and talk to me is because I want to figure out, how do we move forward? How do we increase achievement for our students of color, especially for our Black boys and girls? And it has to be a community effort. The schools are going to be able to do a lot of really good work, but I also need to hear from community and hear from other people to know, how do we balance that and wrap around those services for our students?
So when people do reach out to you, those who are like, hey, that's Bettina, call Bettina. What seems to be like their number one issue, if there's a number one, if there are top three, what seems to be like, what you hear about the most?
That's a good question. So a lot of times it's a concern about something happening in a school when parents will reach out. But we've had concentrated efforts around the budget. Last year, we had a lot of parents and community members and teachers emailing us about, ask the county commissioners for more funds. We need to be able to fund our schools. And that was a really big effort that we heard about. So that's probably some of the bigger issues that we hear via email.
One of the things, and I guess this is probably my own concern here. I'll put this out there because, I've got a teenage daughter. She's in the 10th grade. 2 more years, she'll be going to college. And I mean, you're thinking about how to make sure that your child is educated in a way that provides them with an opportunity to be able to be a responsible adult and get a job. Okay? In the end, it's all about getting a job.
That's what most parents want.
Yeah, and so I think in a lot of respects we have put our value on people in terms of getting a job, on they went to college and what college they went to and what the degree was, and we don't really talk about the actual skills and talents that they bring. And I think we've gotten off track a little bit by I guess we haven't leveraged our resources as well as we could in terms of vocational education. So what are your thoughts on that? I've heard the new superintendent speak a little bit about that, but what are you thinking about that in terms of vocational education?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important. So in our recent joint community conversations with Durham Public Schools, the county, and the city, that came up often. We have a rich, Durham is growing and the economy is growing, but how do we make sure our students have access to that economy that's happening in Durham? So it's something that's on the forefront. We have a great CTE director in our schools. He does really great work district-wide, but we need to publicize that a lot more. And I think it's important for students to feel valued in choosing a vocational track. Sometimes we put so much emphasis on college, but also you choosing that vocational track can be what brings you joy, what brings you a paycheck every month, and can pay you very well. And sometimes, depending on your career choice, better than what it does to go to a 4-year college. So I think really connecting that vocational track with the future is really important for students, and I definitely think we need to publicize what we do in Durham Public Schools a lot more so students and families can have access to that and know that it's there.
Gosh, okay. Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
So you've shared a lot. I mean, I love it. I got older, and I guess, there were things I wish I had taken in high school.
Oh, me
but
too.
sort of like, you gotta take this college prep class. You gotta have these classes to go to college and this number of credits. And I was, thinking back, I'm like, I would have loved to have taken like a welding class.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been awesome. I could have made some stuff.
I mean, there's so much computer coding now. Like, you can take a 6-week or a couple-month workshop and you go straight to work, and you don't need your 4-year degree to do that, and they make pretty good money. So I'm like, I should have known about these programming things.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, and the thing about it is, as we move toward we're already there. It's not, I want to say as we move toward a technology-based environment, look, we're there.
Right.
We're there. Everybody's global now. The companies are global. They can find somebody to replace you to some extent anywhere throughout the world. And so to the extent that you make yourself like really valuable, I want a job that can't go overseas, I don't want my job offshored.
Yeah.
So are those kinds of conversations taking place in terms of, what we're teaching our kids? I mean, we know they still have to take certain things, to graduate, and certain colleges are going to look for certain things. But, what are we looking at in terms of the future and making sure our kids are prepared?
Yeah, I think that Durham has a really great network of different partners who've been thinking about this, right? So Durham Tech has these conversations. Made in Durham is an entity that's thinking a lot about what's the future projections for this community, and then how do we make sure students have the skills for that. So I think we need to continue to look to those organizations who do that really well, and then for us as a school system say, all right, how do we need to shift our CTE classes, which is career and technical education classes, to match what the future trajectory is for technology. So I think we gotta better have those conversations and then act, right? We talk a lot in Durham. We talk a lot all the time, and then we need to act on it. So we need to actually create the plan for it. And I think once you start talking to students about it and getting them outside of their school building into different, we have externship programs with Durham Public Schools, so students can spend time in a business and do more of that type of work, so students now can see this is connected to a future job that I really am passionate about.
Do you have a particular grade that you like working with? Like, I love the kindergartners. They're so cute.
They're really cute, but middle school is my heart.
Okay.
So, and most people say, bless your heart, you chose middle school. But in undergrad, I was a middle school education major. So I was licensed for English and social studies, and I spent time in lots of middle schools. So they're like, want to be treated like babies, but they really want to be adults. And so they're in a sweet spot. They're doing adolescence. And I love that time period.
Cool. So you mentioned, and for people who are just looking at us, this is Bettina Umstead, who's running for District 1 school board.
Hello.
So you mentioned Made in Durham, but for people watching, everybody might not know what
true.
Made in Durham is. So tell us a little bit about Made in Durham.
All right, so Made in Durham is an organization here that is thinking about systems change work to make sure the youth in our Durham community are connected with the jobs that are in our community. So there was a huge study that was done around this that talked about, you know, there are a lot of kids in our schools, but they're not necessarily taking the jobs that are in Durham. And there are a lot of businesses that are coming to Durham, but they're not necessarily hiring our Durham students. And they talk about students up to age 21 at Made in Durham. So I've met a lot with their staff to be thinking about and talking and having those conversations about connecting corporate world with the schools, and Durham Tech is also a partner in that work.
Okay, that's really, really cool. So one of the other things, so I should just like say to you whatever you want to say now, because then I'm going to wrap up with a couple of things. We're going to like twist it just a little bit. So any other thoughts that you want to share, because you're getting ready to go into the race. You're going to be in the hot seat a little bit, but it's warm, it's cuddly, they like you, they will treat you well. But yeah, is there anything you just want to share with people?
I'm really passionate about the work. I think I care so much about our students and families and teachers and staff members that are in our schools, and I feel it's urgent work and necessary work to make sure our schools are really great for our kids. It's a disservice to send students to a school that's not going to serve them well. So I feel really passionate about that. I'm also open to talk and have conversations with people, so feel free to email me. My website is bettinaumstead.com, and so you can go on there and learn more about me as well.
Awesome. So for everyone else who's watching, and I don't know if LaVon Barnes is still on, but LaVon, we are at Millenium, your favorite space that you don't come to. LaVon is coaching at a School of Science and Math now, but I guess he's not up there anymore, as our person behind the camera is telling us. So we're at Millenium Gym up on Hillsborough Road. And so the whole twist about this is, are you fit to be a politician? You know, and so part of the conversation has to be, you know, how we make decisions about electing people for office. And a lot of times we don't do the research. We need to do ourselves, and so we rely on others as proxies to do that research for us and tell us, hey, here are a selected group of candidates that you should get behind. And so here's an opportunity to sort of speak and share your own narrative yourself, and then just to sort of remind people, look, you know, I'm a person, I'm not perfect, you know, because sometimes you hear that person's just another politician, as if, you know, it's not a good thing. And what I think we need to remind people is that this, you know, you're sacrificing your time, your energy, because you care. And that is really what matters. And so we also want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, which is why we're at the gym. So yes, we're at the gym. So so do you work? So are you fit to be a politician? I think you're fit to be a politician. You've shared a lot with us.
Okay, good.
You know? So what do you do to stay healthy?
So I enjoy spending time with people. So that's something that brings me a lot of joy. So I like to spend time with my family and my friends. I try to eat pretty well and also get in some exercise throughout the week. It's a busy schedule, as you can imagine, full-time working and being on the school board, but those things are really important to me.
So yeah, so what's your, like, oh, you know, this is the one thing I've been working on with trying to eat better. What's your, like, your weak spot? Or your guilty pleasure?
I love ice cream.
Oh, what flavor? Wait.
So chocolate chip cookie dough.
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
My, like, normal go-to, but the parlor downtown, I'll eat whatever they have.
She loves the parlor. We go down there and she's like, oh.
The Talenti gelato stuff, I love that. So I'm a huge ice cream fan.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Lately, I've been eating the chocolate chip pecan cookies from Loaf. I mean, you know,
those are really good too.
I know, and I was buying the whole package. and she's saying something. I don't know what she's saying. Oh, she's saying let's go to Love.
That's our next stop, Mom.
So yes, I stopped buying the whole packaged ones, and now I'm just going to get 2 singles. I'm like, can I just have 2 single
really
cookies?
good.
But yeah, so good. It's nice, and I think you're right. Having friends and family around you who care about you will help with that. Did you say you get out and walk? Do you have a gym membership?
I do have a gym membership. I go to a small studio, it's a spin studio in downtown Durham.
Cool. All right. And how long have you been there?
Oh man, for a while now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
studio.
So what's your favorite sort of workout thing to do?
I like they have like a lot of circuit classes, so you do a little bit of like weight training on each little circuit, and I like that because you can do some bursts of cardio, but then you also get your strength training in there as well.
Okay.
So that's my normal go-to.
What about push-ups?
Those aren't my areas of expertise. I hope that's not.
I love the whole. Let me inhale before I respond. Okay, what about planks?
Yeah, I've done those before.
I've done those before.
Yeah, don't ask about burpees. I hope
So-
that's not where we're going
No,
next.
we're not going to do any burpees. Even I am like, oh my God, I've been doing some things and I'm just like, I shouldn't do that. But I'm going to switch up or at least get rid of these. But so let's maybe, do we want to try push-ups or do we want to try planks?
How long are we gonna be doing this?
We're just going to we're going to let you lead.
Okay.
Because you're the fit politician here.
Right,
So we're going to
right.
let you lead. Do you want to do planks or pull-ups? And if so, how long for the planks and how many push-ups?
All right, let's.
Because I'm bad, so I'll probably give out before you.
All right, you want to do some plank? Let's do that one. All
Okay,
right.
let's do planks. So we'll just move these a little out of the way. All right, so we're gonna try a few planks. We'll let her handle the camera for us. So yeah, so how long are we gonna do it? And I think I'm gonna come out of my jacket because I'm a little. So how long are we gonna do the planks?
That's a good question. I feel like I should have practiced before I came.
That's okay. What do you think? Maybe we've got a clock back there. Maybe 30 seconds.
I feel good about 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
We think we can do 30 seconds of plank. We've got to give the camera person a moment to
set us
get
up.
ready because we're going to be getting down here on the floor. Okay, so we're going to do 30 seconds.
You're going to count us off?
Or there's a clock right behind.
I can't see it behind. If
Oh,
you
okay.
can see it, then that's okay.
Okay, all right, we'll start at the 9. So I guess we're at like 3, 2, 1. And we're. Breathe. So yeah, so I guess we're like done. All right, well it was awesome. So
No
yes,
problem. Thank you for having me and inviting me out.
Yeah.
It's a different style of interview. I like it.
I know, it's just sort of like talking and hanging out, and we're in the gym, and it's like totally laid back, and yeah. All right, so cool. Thank you for joining us. And as I sit here and play with this, thank you for joining us again. It was Bettina Umstead, who's running for the District 1 seat.
District 2.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, District 2.
I
Don't get it right.
Yeah.
I want people to make sure they got the right person.
Yeah, okay. Bettina Umstead, District 2. There we go. I'm good. I'm getting better. By the time Election Day rolls around, I'll have you in the right spot.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.